Hi everyone. So I've been with my tutee, Gerald, for 4 months now, and we spend nearly 1 hour per week for our tutoring sessions. Gerald is new to the country and he is new to the English language. So I started off our sessions assessing what he currently knows, and this was done primarily through helping him out with his homework, especially his English homework, as well as trying to have as many simple conversations as possible. And this was done just by asking him how his day was going and etc. etc. So the first lesson I learned from this case study was that when working individually with a student that is new to the English language, whenever giving instructions or communicating information, we should always try and give a visual picture of to our students. So, for example, during the first half of my sessions, my tutee and I mostly communicated using Google Translate. I would input my questions and instructions into Spanish, and he would input his answers and thoughts into English, which made every bit of information I wanted to relay to him difficult since Google Translate is not often that reliable, especially when translating the more difficult sentences. So something I came up with was to start writing on a whiteboard and drawing pictures, diagrams for every concept that I was trying to teach. For example, when we started out doing reading comprehension during our first couple of sessions, and whenever Gerald was reading a passage, he would be unsure of certain words. So to help Gerald with this, I drew a chart containing the words of the sentences that he was unsure of, wrote the definition down, and if possible, I drew a picture. So when I had him reread the passage, he would be able to connect the word he struggled with to the definition, and he would relate it to the sentence more easily, which allowed him to understand the passage easier. So the second lesson learned was to allow the student to use a mixture of his native language and the language he is currently learning during our assignments. I think this method enabled Gerald to understand what he was writing more, since he wasn't proficient in writing his responses in English, but allowing Gerald to write his answers in his native language and then asking him to rewrite that response into English helped Gerald grasp the structure of writing in English better. I think this lesson also allows us to scaffold our learning for our tutees, which can be applied to working with partners in a classroom. So, for example, partnering up your ELL student with another student that speaks their native language and is proficient in English during an assignment, the English proficient student would work as a translator, translate the question, and this allows the ELL student to answer the question, which allows them to participate at their own pace. So overall, these were my two lessons. One, to give a visual representation of every bit of information and instruction. Two, to scaffold our learning for our assignments with using a mixture of using a mixture of our students' native language and English. And yeah, thank you.